Back in September, we told you about a professor whose algorithm has accurately predicted every presidential election over the past 30 years. He said he sees President Trump in our future, but a lot has changed since his September forecast. American University professor Allan Lichtman joins us now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, this happened, you predicted this back in September. Do you still foresee a Trump victory?
Well, the keys have now weakened because one of my keys was the third party key. And Gary Johnson was running pretty strong in September. He's running much more weakly now. If he completely fades away, that could change the prediction. Even back in September, though, I issued a qualification, which was while my system, which is based on the study of history, predicts that this should be a change election, that is, a generic Republican should win, Donald Trump is anything but a generic Republican. He is a history-smashing candidate. The great majority of the American people don't think he's fit to serve as president. You recall 4 years ago with the candidacy of Herman Cain when he was leading for the Republican nomination, 3 or 4 women came out and accused him of sexual harassment. That drove him out of the race. A dozen women have accused Donald Trump of sexual harassment, even groping and assault, and he's bragged about sexually assaulting women, something that Herman Cain never did, and he's still in the race. He's demeaned women, African Americans, Muslims, Hispanics, the disabled. He has done so many things that would have driven any other candidate out of the race, that he is outside the parameters of anything we have ever known in our history. He's invited the Russians to come in and hack our elections, which is exactly what they have done. He's refused to admit, despite intelligence findings, that the Russians are behind these hackings. He said some undisclosed emails revealed in the Comey letter, which Comey said may not be significant at all. Well, worse than Watergate, the worst scandal in our history. I can go on why Trump is not a generic candidate. Indeed, the 2 leaders of the Republican Party, Paul Ryan, the Speaker, and Mitch McConnell, the Senate leader, won't even mention his name. That's never happened before in our history.
So all of this could really tip the scale into Clinton's favor, but at the same time, let's talk about WikiLeaks. All those emails are pretty damaging too. Which one do you think carries more weight?
WikiLeaks shouldn't carry any weight. Vladimir Putin is the big winner of this election, whether Trump or Clinton wins. He has, with impunity, broken the pattern of history by blatantly interfering in an American election. That's never happened before in our history with a foreign power. George Washington expelled the French ambassador back in the 1790s because he was meddling in our politics. And with all respect, the media is very heavily at fault here because they have swallowed hook, line, and sinker the bait thrown out by Vladimir Putin by reporting on and using the WikiLeaks, which are 50,000 to 0. Tens of thousands of Democratic documents, 0 Republican documents. Whose side do you think Vladimir Putin is on? It's like trying to analyze a divorce by only reading one side of the story. It is absolutely shameful that WikiLeaks should be playing in this election. It means this could be Vladimir Putin's election, not the American people's election.
Although, it hasn't been substantiated that Russia is tied to this. It's definitely been asserted, but it hasn't been proven as of yet. You talk a lot about
That's not true. That's not true at all. Our intelligence, they haven't proven it 100%, but our intelligence agencies, as well as independent security firms that have looked at this, have said that the hacking of the Democratic material with a high degree of certainty is linked to Russian sources. And that's pretty damn good.
A high degree of certainty, but not 100% certainty, correct?
Nothing is 100%. You can be sentenced to death without 100% certainty that you committed the crime. Nothing in this world is 100%. This is as good as you're going to get.
You mentioned the media's role. 30 years ago when you started this, your method, the media maybe didn't play as big of a role, or it was very different at the very least. Social media is certainly playing a role right now. Has that changed your methodology at all?
It's a great question, and the answer is no, because my analysis goes back all the way to 1860, the horse and buggy days. We didn't even have radio, much less television, polls, or anything close to that. So my system covers a huge range of technological changes.
You created this method called Keys to the White House. It consists of 13 true or false questions that you believe determine the next president. If the incumbent party in office, which would be the Democrats this year, answer false to 6 or more of those questions, the algorithm says they will lose. What are some of those questions?
Yeah, the 6 that I have out against them are midterm elections, where the Democrats took a big pasting. Sitting president, Barack Obama, is not running again. Third party, Gary Johnson has been polling way ahead of any libertarian candidate. Well, that's the shaky one because he seems to be sinking. A major policy change. The Democrats got that in the first Obama term, but the keys go term by term. And given the gridlock in Washington, no big policies gotten through the Congress in the second term, that's 4. No big foreign policy smashing success, that's 5. And the only key pertaining to the candidate, Hillary Clinton, is obviously not a once-in-a-generational, inspirational candidate like a Ronald Reagan or a John Kennedy. That's 6. It's a really, really razor-edge call, particularly given the shaky third-party key.
Okay. Trump's pattern of unpredictability has likely made your assessment a lot more difficult, and you've mentioned that a little bit. You've been correct for 30 years, but this election season is unlike anything we've seen before. Are you bracing yourself for the possibility that you could be wrong this time around?
Good question. I'm only human. Of course, I could be wrong. And you're absolutely right. This is the most perplexing, puzzling election, the election with more twists and turns and amazing things happening than any election in our history. And I've studied them. Contrary to popular belief, I wasn't around then, but I've studied them since 1788.
All right, well, if this time you're wrong, I don't think a lot of people will hold it against you. American University professor Allan Lichtman, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, and I can take the heat.